Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you new here, my name is Donna, and for those of you not new, thank you so much for continuing to come back and support my channel. I appreciate you all so very much. Today I'm doing a get ready with me. You're seeing me after the fact. This is the look that I did. It's an everyday eye look using the ABH Norvina Mini Pro Pigment Palette Volume 2. This is kind of a scary palette to look at, honestly. So I just wanted to show its versatility and come to you and do an everyday eye look that you can achieve out of that kind of scary looking palette. So that is what we're doing today. It's not really going to be about the makeup. I'm not going to go into everything that I'm using on my face with you, but it will all be linked down, or maybe not linked, but it will all be, I don't link my makeup. I don't know why I don't, but I don't link my makeup. You're not going to make, I'm not going to make any money off of you guys going to buy anything that I'm wearing on my face. It is what it is. But everything I'm wearing on my face is down in the description box. Clear at the end, it does say what I'm wearing. It tells you where I got my shirt, where I got my hat, if I'm wearing a hat, where my jewelry comes from, because I buy all my jewelry from one specific place for the most part, and what all my makeup on my face is. So you will have that information down there. If you guys are interested in seeing how this was done, and if you're interested in hearing me talk about my weight loss journey, what I've been doing, please keep watching. I thought I would do like an everyday eye look with this palette since it looks a little bit scary. I thought I would do just an everyday eye look with this so that you will be able to see that you can also get an everyday look from this. What I also am going to do is do this like chatty get ready with me style, so we're not going to be talking about what I'm doing with my eye. But instead I thought I'd talk to you guys a little bit about like my healthcare journey, my weight loss journey. I know that I've had a lot of people interested in what it is that I'm doing, so I thought I would talk to you guys about it. I have already primed my eyes. I used the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot to prime my eyes. I've got some of my everyday brushes here, and I'm just gonna go in. So I'm gonna be using this color, probably the yellow, as well as this center shade right here. I think that those are the most, like, this whole like diagonal row here is the most like everyday of the shades that are in here, and it's a really easy look. It's just, you know, a 2-shade eye look. It's super easy, so this shouldn't take too long. So as you guys know, I have been on a wee bit of a healthcare journey since May. So over the last, like, I guess it's been a year. At the point May hit, it had been like 7 months. I quit smoking. When you quit smoking, like, one of the things that I was afraid of happened, and that was that you gain weight. I was gaining weight at approximately like 2 to 3 pounds a month, and what was weird about it was that I really wasn't eating any differently than what I was prior to quitting smoking. I would say that the biggest difference, you know, I don't even know what the biggest difference was. I wasn't eating any differently, but I started gaining weight when I quit smoking, and I wanted to not smoke, but I also knew that I didn't want to continue to gain weight at the rate I was gaining. And I was already overweight to begin with. I'm not even going to pretend that that didn't exist. YouTube, for you guys who know me, you know that I do this as solace to my soul. It's my peace of mind. I don't make any money at it. I don't care to make any money at it. I do it because it's my calm. It's my peace. Some people like folding laundry. I like doing YouTube. You know, some people like running. I liked doing YouTube. I now like running as well, but I liked YouTube. YouTube was my peace of mind. That was what soothed my soul. Right around May, I started hating it. And I started hating it because I had to look at myself every single day. I had to edit myself. I had to record myself. And I hated looking at myself. Every video I posted, it got to the point where instead of like editing a video and just editing it and being done with it and, you know, letting it upload, I debated on whether I was gonna upload it, what part of my body I needed to cover, how much of my body I needed to cover, how short, how shrinky I needed to get the video so that it covered the majority of my body. It was draining. It was draining on my person, my self-confidence. It became something that was harmful instead of helpful to myself, to my person, to my confidence, to everything about me. During a good majority of the time that this was all going on, we were still, you know, on quarantine. We couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything. And doctors weren't seeing you if it wasn't an emergency. Like, I'd also hurt my arm at some point in December, and I really couldn't move my arm very much. This arm really didn't have any range of motion. It was like literally down at my side most of the time. I couldn't move it. I didn't know what was wrong with it. And I am not like necessarily the best person to speak towards self-care. I don't do very good when it comes to taking care of myself, just because I don't have the time. I claim I don't have the time to take care of myself, but at this time our work was going through, you know, what it was, and it was really making sure that we had some kind of like self-care going on as well, whether it be with classes or taking some time for ourselves during a day, reading a self-help book, doing those kind of things. Like, you know, our work was really focusing on self-care as well and self-development as well during this time, because we were working but our stores weren't open, so it was kind of like a moot point almost, right? Because we were learning all these things but we didn't have anything to do with all these things we were learning. So they also like instructed us to like take part in some self-care. When it came down to it, like my biggest, I wanted to self-care myself. I did that. I like started reading some books that, you know, they had put out there as something that was good for self-care and self-development, and I wanted to like really focus on me, how to make me better. I wanted to be a healthy person. I wanted to learn how to eat right. I wanted to lose weight because the weight had started affecting multiple areas of my life. Obviously, it was starting to affect YouTube, my want, will, and desire to do YouTube. It was starting to affect like just very, very, very many things. And I started going to see a nutritionist in May. May 19th was my first visit with her, and prior to that, I had gotten her name from my doctor's office because I finally went to my doctor about my arm, and she prescribed me physical therapy for my arm, which works. Like, I can get my arm clear up here now. It doesn't hurt to do normal daily functions. She also suggested that I look into a nutritionist. So, and she gave me the name and number of this nutritionist, and I gave this nutritionist a call. And our first conversation really sounded kind of comical now that I look back on it, because she was like, I'm going to push you. I'm going to, you know, you're probably going to be uncomfortable before you get comfortable. You need to know that that is what I will be doing to help you. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Like, she's like, physical activity is going to be a push. You know, you're going to have to eat certain foods. And I'm like, okay, well, I really don't know. I've done these programs before where you have to buy, Optavia comes to mind, where you have to buy certain foods. I hated the food on Optavia, or Medifast. I think it was called Medifast when I was on it. I hated that food. It tasted so bad. And I was like, I just don't know that I can commit to something that I'm not sure that I'll love. So she gave me a little pack of a couple of the entrees, some of the shakes, whatnot. And you might be thinking Slim Fast right now. It's nothing like Slim Fast. And I went home. We made an appointment for the following week. I went home. I tried the stuff, and I actually quite loved the food. The food was actually pretty dang good. So I called her, solidified that appointment, and I went the next week. And I weighed in. And I weighed far more than I would like to admit. But it was enough that I knew I had had enough. I needed to do this program. Otherwise, I was going to be 300 pounds the next time I looked. I was not at my heaviest, because I have been heavier than this weight, but not far from my heaviest. And I just decided then and there, this had to work, right? I was crying all the time. I hated my body. I hated myself for letting myself get to this point. My first couple weeks, I have to be honest, were amazing. Like, I lost so much weight my first couple weeks, and I wasn't even exercising. And when it came down to it, she was like, you have to exercise. You're going to stop seeing weight loss if you don't exercise. You're going to not gain the principles that you need to learn to be functional without this food if you don't do some kind of physical activity. And the whole time we're talking about this, she's also teaching me how to eat appropriately, right? Based on what I wanted in life. So the program that I'm on is called Healthy Solutions. I brought some of this stuff in here for you guys to see. So initially, the program, you can do it like a multiple of ways, right? There's a way that you can do it where you are monitored by a doctor and you just have the shakes. And shakes could be the soups, the oatmeal, or the shakes. So this is a shake that I drink every morning. I drink actually 2 of these every morning, potentially 3. At night I have a pudding that is made out of a different one of these shakes, but it's still a shake. It just binds more. It binds more, so it can become a pudding. That one, I put 2 of those into a container and either make a coffee milkshake out of it or make some other kind of milkshake out of it. It is so good. It really is so good. Then you eat as many fruits and vegetables as you want. Well, I've learned I really like fruits and vegetables. I have always really liked fruits and vegetables, but somehow along the way I kind of forgot that. I stock up my fridge with fruits and vegetables. I like them fresh more than I like them canned, and that's always the best for you anyways. So I really started digging into figuring out different ways to make, you know, my food so that it didn't become stale. And then at night you have to eat 2 of their meal replacement entrees, and this is just like one of them. This one is the penne pasta with meatballs and sauce. This tastes just like SpaghettiOs with meatballs almost, only like a more adult version of it. It's so good. I don't like red sauce. Most of their stuff has red sauce, I will tell you that. I do eat this with the red sauce in it, but like they have a ravioli meal. I will rinse all the red sauce off the raviolis and bake them instead, and then dip them into the red sauce, so I'm getting just the little bit of red sauce. And I love those 2, are my 2 favorite. But I started doing this, right? And the first month I lost, I think, like 10-12 pounds or something like that without even doing anything. I didn't exercise or anything. I just changed my diet, changed my food. I was eating fruits and vegetables versus eating chips and cheese and whatnot. And I quit drinking soda. About 4 or 5 weeks in, I decided that it was time to start exercising because I had already seen what I could do weight loss wise just changing my diet. So I wanted to like incorporate in exercise to see if it changed, and it did. It changed a lot. I wouldn't say like it changed a lot in how rapidly I was losing, but I would say it did change my mindset. Like, I had a gym membership. I went every other day for so long, and then I got pregnant with my youngest. And during that pregnancy I had quit working out, and then I just never got back into it, which I remember that time being such a happy time in my life, not because it was a happy time in my life, but because I felt good. My body felt good. I mentally felt good. We started walking, and really that's where it started. It probably the first couple weeks, it took me probably 40 minutes to walk around the block because I didn't want to do it. I hated exercise because of the sweat that was involved with exercise. I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to get gross. And then it became something I really started to crave. I started getting faster and faster. And then it was like, we need to go further. We need to go further. So at first it was walking around the block. And then it was walking a few blocks. And then it was like extending it down to the main road and then coming back so as to extend our walk. And then it was finding a different place to walk. I wasn't getting enough. I was doing at least 2,000 calories worth of physical activity every single week. Then it was 3,000, and then it was 3,000. I think 3,000 is pretty much where I stopped, except for that I also started doing 10Ks. I started running 10Ks. And when my sister found out that I was doing all this, she used to run all the time. She wanted to do my first 10K with me. So she did, and that was the Dunder Mifflin run that we did. And that was so much fun. And the only reason why I actually signed up for that is because of my friend Grace, who was on a weight loss journey of her own and a toning and developing journey of her own. Long story short, I was walking up until it got super cold, and now I'm trying to think of more creative ways to get my physical activity. Like, my house has 2 staircases, so 3 stories. I will run the stairs in my house, or I got that Ring of Fire game for my Switch, and that's super fun when I use it. I also have like resistance bands that I've been using while I'm sitting at my desk all dang day, or at my table all dang day working. So like, I'll use these resistance bands to give me some kind of, physical activity while I'm sitting there at a desk feeling like a lump on a log. I joined a gym, but I have to be honest, we went like 3 or 4 times. Their hours just don't coincide with ours. They're open at 4 a.m., but I am not a get up first thing in the morning, go exercise kind of girl. I like to do my exercise at night or in the middle of the day at some point when I like maybe need a break or something like that. And now we're closed down again. Gyms are closed down again. So I do a lot in the house right now versus out of the house so that I can get my physical activity in and still feel like I'm working towards a goal. But I really do love walking. I really wish that it wasn't 12 degrees outside, because I'd go walk for sure. So I like to get, well, minimum is at least 2,000 calories of physical activity every single week. And I don't feel like I'm winning unless it's around the 3,000 mark, because if it's not around the 3,000 mark, I feel like a loser. That's just me though. That's nothing that anybody else is holding me to. I'm doing this video for 2 reasons. Number 1, I want you guys to know what I'm doing. Number 2, I want something to hold myself accountable. I have to be honest, since it got cold, I am having a harder time finding my physical activity mindset. With that being said, it was something that I would get pissed if we could not go out for a walk every day. And now, like, because it's cold, I also don't want to go for the walk. But I know that I need to do some kind of physical activity. What I find that I am getting out of this the most is a shift in my mindset of what a snack is, and a shift in my mindset of how to eat. I'm learning new things. I'm learning how to make smarter decisions. I'm learning that you don't necessarily have to tell yourself, no, you can't have that. But what you do have to tell yourself is, if you have that, this is what you have to do instead. What I told my nutritionist is that my life, I have to remember, is going to be like peaks and valleys of everything, right? But food is no different. So I've never been one that was like, oh, I need all the sweets in the world. I don't really like candy. I don't care to have candy. My thing is the salty substances, potato chips and bread and cheese and all those things. So I can have those things, but if I do, what does that mean for me as in terms of what I have to eat or not eat the next day? What do I have to do in physical activity? Those kind of things. It's not that regimented. I mean, my plan is regimented, don't get me wrong. It's regimented because if it's not regimented, I will fail. You guys like my cup? It is the biggest coffee cup ever. It is so big and it is so awesome, and it says, I am the boss. I think my daughter got it for me. I'm pretty sure my daughter got it for me. It's like a 20-ounce coffee cup. It's so amazing. I still have my coffee. I just don't have it with like creamer. That if I'm being honest, my coffee was mostly creamer in the past. At the end of it, I think I was putting probably a 4th cup of creamer into every single cup of coffee. I'm learning all kinds of things regarding eating that, like, I knew before, right? We all know, but somewhere down the line I'd forgotten to put me first. And I think that's really where it comes down to. I can't talk and do eyeliner at the same time, so I'm going to do this real quick. The thing is, too, is that I am not selling myself short anymore, and it is so nice. I no longer look at my videos and think, you're disgusting, because that's what I was telling myself. You're disgusting. You don't deserve to be on the internet. How long is it going to be before you see hate? Like, really, that's where it was. I no longer look at my videos and say those things to myself. That's the other thing that my nutritionist is teaching me, is that the words that you speak to yourself can be super detrimental. So even when I don't have a week that I'm doing really well on, I never ever, well, okay, so I feel defeated. I do. I feel like a big fatty failure. I am horrible to myself in those moments, but I also know that I have to cut myself some slack. With that being said, I have been on this plan since May 26th. I have learned how to eat appropriately. Even when I'm at a restaurant these days, you guys, I don't eat inappropriately. I know what I can eat and get away with it, and what I can eat that's not going to cause me distress. I no longer crave potato chips. I thought I would for the rest of my life. I no longer crave them, and that was my comfort food. That was the food that I wanted all the time. I'm not gonna lie, like I could eat some potato chips, but I know that I don't need to eat a whole bag of potato chips in one sitting. On the 26th of November, it was 6 months in, I've lost 50 pounds. I'm so happy with the progress that I've made, and I'm so happy with the things that I've learned, and I'm so happy that I think that I could come out of this and not really look at weight in the same way. Like, I know what I need to do to maintain and to move forward. Where I'm so thankful to my nutritionist for all the amazing things that she's taught me, that I had somewhere in there, right? I had all this knowledge somewhere in there. She's taught me these things in a way that makes sense to me, makes sense to my body, and I don't have to struggle. I don't have to feel like I'm starving, because I'm not. Oh my gosh, there are some days I'm eating so much food that I can't even think to stick another item of food in my face. As a matter of fact, when I first started this, that was one of the problems, because I wasn't eating normally on a day-to-day basis. There would be days that I would go without eating because I forgot to eat, or I would eat dinner just because I knew I needed to. And then as soon as I shoved something in my face, my body realized, oh my God, you're eating. You need to eat more. So then I would eat more, and I would eat until I was so full that it was hard to move. So I know that that's actually not a good thing anymore, and starving yourself is not a good thing anymore, and starving yourself is surely not going to help you lose anything, your body is just going to hold on to it for like ever. And I find that if I'm not eating enough on a week-to-week basis, that's exactly what my body does. Again, it goes into that mode and thinks that I need to hold on to the food that I am consuming. I use the Hourglass Mood Exposure in my Ofra Cosmetics Versatile Matte Bronzer. You guys look at the pan in that. Holy crap. This is going to go into my project pan, I think, for 2021, just because it's almost gone anyways. I don't do much for my brows, so I'm just going to put my little dude through my brows, find a highlight and a lip, and then we will be out of here. At this point, I'm trying to decide whether I want to go into phase 2. So phase 2 is a lower amount of weight loss, or like your maintain phase. You get to start incorporating some other foods into your life. Here's why it's been hard for me, because I had a number in mind for going into phase 2, and I haven't quite yet hit that number. As a matter of fact, I'm like 30 pounds from that number, but I feel like if I hit that number, I might look sick. And here's why I'm saying that. I am still not in a place that I want to be as far as the number on the scale. But as far as like the pant size I'm wearing, you guys, I was wearing a comfortably, probably a 26 in pants. And the reason why I say probably is because the last pair of pants that I know that I had a tag in, that I know what size it was a 22, 24. They were tight. They were so tight, I would leave them unbuttoned and either rubber band the top of them or wear a shirt. Well, I always wore shirts long enough to cover, but I would wear a tighter shirt underneath so that I could fold it over the top of the pants to hold the pants up. I had really moved into wearing more elastic waisted items because I knew that those were more comfortable. Tops, I was wearing like a 3X. Even those, sometimes I would quit wearing because once you wash them, they felt too tight and they showed all of the curves. The last pair of pants I bought was a size 14 and they're too big. I think I could fit into a 12 easy peasy. I'm pretty certain that I could fit into a stretchy 10 easy. My tops are an extra large, a large or extra large dependent. Most people, when they lose weight, they lose their chest as well. I haven't lost anything in my chest. I've lost inches. I now went from wearing my bras on the very last hook to wearing my bras on the very first hook. And the next increment, I'm probably going to have to start buying new bras. I already bought new underwear. I'm wearing clothes I haven't worn in probably 15 years that are still in my closet because I'm a pack rat and don't get rid of anything. It's like having a whole new wardrobe. I have bought some new pieces. I feel really good about the knowledge that I have to remain committed to this part of my journey, but also I am struggling to eat these foods. I was meandering down the grocery store aisle the other day, and what was I looking at? I can't remember what I was looking at, but I came to the aisle with tuna fish in it. I have never in my life looked at a can of tuna and went, man, I just want some tuna fish. I just want some tuna fish. When can I have some tuna fish? Never in my life have I done that. And I found myself doing that. I just used the Opal Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector. I don't anticipate the fact that I will stop, movement in the right direction at any given moment in time. I'm going to talk to my nutritionist when I go see her this week about movement into phase 2. This is the JonteBlu lip pencil I got from BoxyCharm forever ago in Spice. It's one of my favorites, honestly. Phase 2 will allow me to have a lean protein and drop me down to like one of these meals, and I think it'll be good for a while, for a minute. For a minute. I know that I will have to like seriously sit down and figure it out because I don't want to start gaining the weight back, but I also feel like I need to move into phase 2 and maybe start toning instead of losing right now, because I think that's where, like, my arms, I definitely need to tone that. I have been working on it. I do have some weights sitting over there, and with my resistance bands, I have been working on it. I'm gonna scooch back. What I would like to say is that my nutritionist saved me. She saved my channel. She saved my health, my mental health. She has done a lot for me, and I could not be more grateful to her for everything that she's worked with me, taught me, and just helped me strive to do. Beyond everything else, I feel so good. I don't think I've eaten a Tums, which I was eating probably 3 or 4 times a day. I haven't had one in 6 months. I haven't had a sugar soda in 6 months. I have a mental mindset of what needs to happen to be able to consume calories outside of the realm of what I normally do. Weight loss journeys are subjective, right? They're just like makeup. Whatever works for you, do. I'm not telling you all this stuff because I am the end all speak all in weight loss. Why I am telling you all this stuff is because I've had a lot of questions. A lot of people have asked, and I feel good about telling you about it now because I know that it works now. It's not like some fad something or other. So that's my journey. I hope that you guys liked my get ready with me. This is my natural look eye with using a kind of a scary palette. This was my palette roulette palette for this week. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you enjoyed learning a little bit more about my weight loss journey, where I sit now. Let me know what you guys think. With that being said, thank you guys so much for coming and watching my video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you enjoyed hearing a little bit about my weight loss journey. I hope that if it inspires you, you'll reach out, you'll let me know. I would love to help you through it, help walk you through it, even give you some kind of, you know, just tips if you want tips, or get you in touch with somebody who can run this program for you, with you. Thank you guys so much for coming and watching my video. I know that you don't have to, so it warms my heart that you do. I hope that you enjoyed it enough that you're considering giving it a big thumbs up. It really does help our channels out here, and it's totally free to do. I also hope that you enjoyed it, or me, enough that you're considering subscribing to my channel before you go. I would love to have you along for this crazy ride of mine. It's also free to do, and even if you don't, please leave a comment down in the comment section. I do love having that little bit of banter back and forth between myself and the people that are watching my videos. And if you do, please don't forget to hit the notification bell. I do upload content 3 to 4 times a week depending on the week, and I would hate for you to miss anything. Thank you guys again so much for coming to my channel. I hope that this week is treating you well. This week, this month, this holiday season is treating you well. I hope that you guys are staying safe, and I hope that you guys are masking up when you're out in public, because we're almost on lockdown again. I'm quite certain there are other parts of this country that are almost on lockdown again, and it's scary. It's scary times, and I want you guys to stay safe, because you never know who's walking around out there without a mask on that's asymptomatic and spreading it around to everybody. I hope that you guys are loving each other, but loving each other from afar. And until next time, bye guys.